Selassie, you know.
Highly. We had Minister Mike Henry's office conference room getting ready for a meeting. But before the meeting starts, what do you think about Rastafari movement in this time?
Rastafari movement will always be a good one, but is Rasta have to know that His Majesty, the known as Rasta, we have to make him into quality, and the quality is shown through our liberty. And our liberty have to be an examples of Emperor Haile Selassie. And as far as I see, even within Jamaica where we are at now, at this moment and this time, I think that Rasta must be, and why I use must, because I don't want to use show. Must, that is something moving forward and to be a part of the electoral system in Jamaica. Why a man said this? Why a man said this? For any sector of society to be recognized heavily, that society only can be respected and be honored when they can exercise their electoral power, which is a threat to any government in a democratic society. There is no doubt about it. And being born into Rasta, you know, I see the whole movement of Rasta, the contribution of Rasta had made to Jamaican society, the civil society in Jamaica, where I have not seen where Rasta had lied to the people in no form, shape. And I can say that, and I would ask anybody, what have Rasta lied to you, I said to you, where you don't see it had come to pass, and it's a right thing that is Rasta is saying. But we have to be a part of the electoral system in Jamaica, because even within this moment where the liberalization of ganja, if Rasta was a part of the government with the administration and be a part of and be an administrator, I think there more passion will show towards the liberalization of ganja.
Yes.
You know, and as far as me see, a lot of procrastinating, and procrastinating is, when you procrastinate, it's a costly cost. And if we within this ganja movement don't have passion about the whole development of this ganja industry, it's like we're wasting our time.
True.
So that's why I say, that is one of the main things I say, Rasta must be a part of the electoral system, which is good in any society.
Why do you think Rastafari should get involved with the electoral system of Jamaica?
All right, Marcus Garvey said a very important thing, which is very dear to me. And we have done it over the years, where we criticize somebody. So Marcus Garvey said, why criticize a man where you cannot discipline or correct? You know? So if we sit every day and criticize the government and not be a part of the whole electoral system, what difference can we make?
Nothing, no difference. And I know that I'm glad to hear you say that. My name is Astor Black, and you are?
Ras Juta.
Ras Juta. Where are you based, Ras Juta?
Well, I'm based in Westmoreland, president of Stepping High Farmers Association, Ganja, and we deal with other agricultural produce. So it's not only ganja alone.
True.
You know, yes. Food and a whole.
You have to grow what to eat and eat what to grow.
Blessed.
Rastafari. As you know, I have the same vibes as the and this is why I participate in the electoral system. And we are right here now in Honorable Mike Henry's conference room. What are we going to talk to him about?
Well, personally, Iman is here on the base and the thing about ganja, the economic development and structure of ganja, which I had right a development plan.
Yes.
And I also put a regulation plan.
Should we be in his office, or should we be in the Minister of Development's office?
Well, to be honest and to be truth, from where I came from and what I had seen over the years, being going from Trench Town to Little Trench, and see when the police and soldier join forces together at those times. When them come in at the ghetto, just Rasta, Ganja, and the Ganja pipe. So being in any one of these ministry, you know, it's a great victory. But I see
Great victory for what?
both for Rasta and what Rasta had told the people.
Yes.
So the herb is the healing of the nation.
We know that.
But
But the question is, should we be in?
getting into your, you know, yes,
Yeah.
we in the development,
Yeah.
you know, in the where the development, where the whole economic development.
What office should we be in?
I think it's Minister of Trade and Commerce, something like that.
And the minister, the prime minister have to take in charge of development of Jamaica. So most of the ministers who in the development sector of Jamaica is now fall under the office of the prime minister. And I don't think Mr. Henry is in that.
I'm glad you said that, you know. You know, I was watching the news one time, not far ago. I just think after the newly elected prime minister.
You're watching Bob Arts Television. Don't go nowhere. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, you know, because I was watching the television not long ago, and the newly elected prime minister of Jamaica, and on that news, he was so passionate about going to open that leg of the highway, whatsoever it may 2000. I said, oh my God, he's so passionate about the highway toll industry. I hope he have the same passions about the ganja industry
And the food industry.
and the food industry,
The banana industry.
you know, and a whole, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, because he said he never hesitate. He said the button had hand to him as the anchor man,
Yes.
and in passion to close the race. But I've not seen no passion showing on the ganja. And I think, and as I said, when you procrastinate, you know, procrastinate is a costly cost.
True.
And I don't think no well-thinking administration and the administrator, you know, administration office and the administrators at this moment where they see such an opportunity in our industry, so much people can benefit.
We'll be right back.
Last earthquake on the mountain of Jamaica, St. Philip. Yeah, man, I give thanks to Rastafari and the inside, you know. All African Liberation Day, now you've been in Malvern, Roseberry District, invite all the family, gather among all mansion at the OAU, organize an African unity, May 25th, Black Liberation Day, I get chant of the mountain. Say, I contact I last earthquake at 334-0255. 334-0235. Can communicate with INL to the power magistrate.
Yes, Ras Juta. Thank you for joining us on Bob Arts Television. Bob Arts Television is seen in Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Illinois, and Indiana. So we've gone wide. As you know, I have participated in the electoral system because I think it is time we start running to ourselves as the elected ones managing the country, so that Rastafari and poor people and a whole, or people, disenfranchised people, because the last election only 47% of the people vote. 53% of the people is not being represented. Even though we have a government, we have a prime minister, we have a governor general, but still it's a minority government. So now it is time we need to get 100% participation in the electoral system. Is that what you're advocating? 100% of people voting.
It's always be good if 100 of people voting, and if you see a low turnout of people, that people not being treated in the right manner, you know. So
True.
the whole electoral, the whole governance is not really working in the favor of the people. And as you said, it's a minority government.
So you think the people are looking forward to representation still?
Of course, the people looking for proper representation. People, you know, people integrated, people travels all over the world. People know what when a government is working in favor of the people. There's no doubt about it, you know. And in this time, as we said, you can't have a third world government mentality when you're having the people as
And
we see.
exactly, and we're 1 hour away from first world America.
The people are first world mind.
Team.
And I think that's what's holding back Jamaica, because the government of Jamaica have first world thinkers.
Yeah. Do you think we should have
third world thinkers? Sorry about that.
No problem. Lobbying now for the decriminalization or legalization of ganja, so that it can be a Jamaica development plan, because we see people in states making money from it, and we as Rastafari have been brutalized and troubled for having ganja in our possession. Now we have a better vibes now. I am lobbying for all Rastafari. Go ahead.
Hello?
I am lobbying for Rastafari to have one license which governs all Rastafari.
And works. Right at the
We'll be right back.
station, half a tree.
Last earthquake on the mouth of Jamaica, St. Elizabeth. Man, I give thanks to Rastafari nation. All African liberation day, now you've been here in Malvern, Roseberry district, invite all the family, gather among all mansion, at the OAU, organize an African unity, May 25th, Black Liberation Day, I chant the mouth. Say, I contact I last earthquake at 334-0235. 334-0235. Can communicate with I to the power magistrate.
Yeah, we're back live on BobArts Television. We're talking ganja. Rastafari. I am lobbying for one license to blanket all Rastafari in Jamaica. What do you think about something like that?
It's something I would have to consider, when you say blanket one
umbrella.
One umbrella.
Yeah.
It would be something good, but as we said, we are doing development, we have to look at many areas, and we have to work in the interest of Rasta. There's no doubt about it.
Yes,
There's have to be interest of Rasta. And even on the legalization of ganja, I'm all for legalization of ganja, but especially for medical purpose. But I think legalization an intelligent manner, for legalization.
Yeah, which the government is working on that now.
Yeah.
So they're saying it's ready. We're ready to issue license. Now, if 10 Rastafari get license, or if one license go to, for example, a Car Garden Benevolent Society, then it'd be like a farmer's market where all Rastafari, no matter where on the island they are, they'll be working together and market together and doing one thing together. So that's what I'm pushing for. So that just like a farmers market, where like Banana Growers Association, where we have a organized body, like the Kurgan, the Rastafari Kurgan Benevolent. Hold it and answer it. Keep it. It will. We all will work together. So if a Rastafari in your group and a Rastafari in a St. Mary group, it need to work together to market together to be like one organization, all of us, the truth.
Okay. Pardon? I have an agenda before me, call to order. Prayer has just been said. The welcome, I think, has to be from me. So welcome everyone. Right? Welcome to the Ministry of Transport and Mining. I think I have to add Minister of Rasta Affairs. I don't know.
That's all right.
because you'll be taking up half of my day today. As all this morning was spent as the chairman of the subcommittee of cabinet trying to work my way through the issues. Time is against me, right? I'm going to adopt the agenda as presented to me here, right? But I'm going to have to let you know time is of the essence for me, all right? Because by right, they should have put this off because standing finance committee should have been going on. So because it was finished early and I said it's set, right? And because I've told this is an ongoing meeting, right? Because even coming out of my chairmanship of the other committee, I'm going to want a presentation, right? Made to all the people, right? Who are involved in the issues surrounding ganja, right? And justice, okay? And I ended up with a lot of discussion this morning about recognizing the religion and whatever you want the religion. So I'm not going to go into that. Presentation of papers, documents, St. Elias Monastery, RMC, Trenchtown Live, Water Supply Church. It is one set of documents or three sets of documents. Coming good. Then the presentation by Andrew Cummins, Stepping High, Hill Farmers, Ganja Production Model. Trenchtown Live presentation, Everett Green, any other business. Now I don't have the time, it will permit me, right, to do all of that, and I want to say it before. Okay? Alright? Okay? So if you can tell me which are your priorities or the time frame in which, right, I will allow it to flow, right? Okay? Or I said, let's next week pick up on it, right? But remember I said I run in an open door policy where your organization is concerned, right? Yes. And I know I can't deal with anything. I guess it would be remiss of me not to welcome the mayor from Morambe, right? And my good friend, Councillor, right? Okay. Vogel, right? Overall. So most of you are friends, right? Okay. Nobody's enemy, right? Okay. Our Rasta love is in the heart anyway. Okay. So in that context, I don't want to take up any time because there's no way we're going to resolve all this by one or two or three meetings. So as I told Mr. Crawford, who apologized for being absent, right? Let's concertina the thing, right? As quickly as we can so that I can get action to flow, right? Following on that, right?
Thank
so
you, sir.
if you wish to take over.
Yes, sir. First of all, I'd like to welcome all those in attendance here today. On behalf of our organization that consists of many groups within the community that is now engaged towards economy, building up economy. On behalf of Brother Dickie Crawford, we'd like to give his apologies for not being here today, but he's had a death in the family. And in that order, I'll be chairing this meeting here today, and we're going to be very quick because Minister has a very limited time. What we're going to concentrate on is the ganja. Right? Everything else is going to be documented and presented to Minister in its own portfolio. But today, we're here to discuss the ganja. And in this regard, we have Brother Andrew Cummins, who is going to go through the model of the industry that we see is going to be the most beneficial to this country and to this nation. And because economy is now the main issue, we now have to get this industry growing so that our minister can bring out the right regulations towards the industry that is going to be presented by the people. So we will not hold up anymore. So I'm going to call Brother Andrew Cummins, right, to take over because we're going to discuss ganja and the growing of ganja and the model that is uniquely to Jamaica. All right? Brother Andrew.
Give thanks, man. Give thanks. To each and every one inside here. It's a great pleasure to be in your presence, Minister. And it's a great victory for I today and on Rastafari. Where I came from to know that we in the Minister office in Jamaica talking about ganja. I give thanks to the farmer, government, who have took it upon themselves to liberalize ganja. And I have a lot of trust inside of you because I was here at the last meeting and I could hear the passion in your voice about ganja and black people reparation and all these things. So having a person like you, I can see victory, not in a far distance, but a short distance. But we have to know that we the people, as they consider the small people, we possess all the quality, the intelligence of developing this ganja industry in a transparent manner, because we are the one who running it in an illicit trade manner. Many ones talk about ganja, gun for ganja trade. I don't know about that. I'm not going to dispute it, say not happen. But where I came from, when a man making money out of ganja, all he want to do is to buy a little house, send him people them go to school, and take care of his family in the right manner. And why I can say that, because I'm a product of that. So, by sitting down, came to many of the conferences where it happened, I never heard nobody talk about two things: a guideline to economic development of the ganja industry, and I never heard it address the soil. And I say you cannot have this plant that you classify so versatile, so wholesome, all this wholesome, and you know nothing about soil, because the soil is very important. You cannot talk about ganja industry where you don't have an economical development plan in place. I heard the government talk about regulation. But how can the government regulate something that is not a part of? How can the government regulate something that did not go to the people who are already having the industry running under the ground? You don't regulate before development. You regulate into development, and we already developed the ganja industry as to the western part of Jamaica, because I'm from Westmoreland. So I get down to Penn, let my son know how I see the whole thing from I was growing from Trenchtown to Westmoreland, as a city, and my uncle is right here. Two things dear to me in this life. I could choose different pathway, but I had choose ganja, and I have choose. Not I choose Rasta. Rasta had chosen me because I was born into Rasta. And as you can see, I think he's the last legend who had spread Rastafari, and I being the church Jamaica, sitting on my left hand right here. So it is very dear to me. He's a blind man, and it's one of the greatest joy for me to have my uncle in my care, because he had showed me a way from I was born about Rasta and what Rasta mean to I as black people. Repatriation is not something for I was born and hearing those words. And nothing he had spoken or his friend them has spoken today, I can say, you know what they were saying, I lied them, I said. And I heard many society and great society that we bow to in Jamaica had told us numerous of lies. And today, we see people still holding on it. You know, not criticizing the government, the present government. I was watching the news where the government said the toll road industry, he was the one that the button last, and he's the anchor man. He was passionate to say he's gonna open it. And I said, my God, I hope you're passionate about the ganja industry, just like how he's passionate about the toll, the highway toll industry. So as I said, not wasting any time, as I said, time is running. I look at the ganja, the economic development structure, the guideline structure. I look at it as a floor, as a floor. We have the first floor, the second floor, the third floor, and the fourth floor. So the first floor base, where the economics, where we're going to build the industry and business in a controlled manner. The industry and business build in a controlled manner. We're pulling the money within our society and hold that currency, because I saw it happen in Westmoreland in the 70s. When we used to, the hippies used to come with the money and buy the ganja from us. That money used to circulate from the shopkeeper, the farmer, the carpenter, each and every one. That is, they was practicing group economy, and that's where the community was developing. We had seen, until we see eradication of ganja, what happened to all those communities. This brother on my right hand, he was my teacher. He looked young, he's young too. I'm a recipient of his teaching. When I was 12 years old, I was introduced to agricultural science, which is animal, plants, and relationships of soil. So, in today's society, as to the ganja industry, if we do not know about soil, we're gonna be in problem. So we talk about group economy. So we talk about the second floor, the wealth and power gained from the first floor used to build the second floor, which is politics, and every successful organization create their own politics and politicians, just like the organization that you represent underneath colonial systems. Not to say you're working in their interests, but you're integrating into the system to say you can make a difference, which I appreciated. And I think at this moment too, Rasta should consider be a part of the electoral system, integrating within politics. Because if Rasta was in politics and be a part of the politics, be a part of the organizations, I think you'd see more passion within the ganja business today. There's a great teacher of mine, which is Marcus Garvey. He said, you cannot criticize someone that you cannot discipline or correct. That's why he went on and spoke with the Ku Klux Klan. So, in today's society, I think it's very important. So create our own politics on the second floor. And then the money that made from the first floor will pay the politicians and what? Just like any other organization. You keep them for a long period, you keep them for a short period. Okay. Having the second floor under control, we then build the third floor, which is court system, the police department. You need this in the ganja system. We need to know about law. Security is very important. We move on to the fourth floor. The fourth floor will be the harbor for our media, which is radio station, TV station, news panel, daily newspaper, cable system. With this in mind, we can effectively inform and communicate with our people in a uniformly manner. So that I'm telling you right there. Then we go to the major regulations. So after major regulation guideline, build the industry and business in a control manner, have a detailed plan based on research of efficiency. It's very important. Vertical industrial production from ground to the shelf. Set up detailed group economics business plan based on a 5 years projection to heal a profit and loss. Find the most productive land for cultivation and producing. Control regional house road politics. Form a localized taxable committee for farming groups. Evaluate and negotiate reasonable tax percentage such as average tax, average market tax, sales tax, with awareness of limiting the gun to be forced in illicit drugs market. Set up enact legislation, govern the cultivation, processing and sale of ganja. Set in place recreation, personal use regulation for adults. Buy or lease radio station, TV station, newspaper and daily newspaper to inform and communicate with the people. Have control local warehouse, deposit of production and shipping distribution. Establish the setup of local licensed medicinal shop. We like to set up a meeting with also every parish that we live, local government, and I think the local government is not doing enough job, not doing their work. So set up monthly meeting with local government, very important. So we would like to set up local meeting with the local government, our council, of course, in a cooperative manner or civil manner to set our regulation, policies, guidelines in regard to the cultivation, manufacturing, distribution of the product in a vertical manner. So this is a thing that we definitely have to. So we, the local people, we know about this industry. For this to work effectively, government have to come to us. Bridge the gap between the youth in the university and us, the empirical farmers within the fields. And when we close that gap, you build that bridge, trust me, there's no limit to it. It's God is the limit. So give thanks. And I said again, I'm grateful to be sitting in your office. I'm grateful. And I hope, and when I say hope, it's not about winning, that when you leave, we can say that's a man who has worked in the interest of the people with love, honesty, and dignity. Thank you, sir, Mr. Minister.
Having experienced from last meeting, I don't have, or who's going to give me the attendance register from here because the numbers are growing. And I need to know the areas. It's very important to what I'm going to say. You're going to provide me, madam, who's the secretary, you're providing me with the names of who else is here, or if not, over there, right? Okay. Let me try and pull this together. Because being made chairman of the subcommittee of cabinet, I have had to expose myself now to everything that has taken us to this point. I have inherited a number of things that I myself don't personally agree with. And you're quite right. Politics plays some issues in this overall. Okay? And one thing I don't ever want to see is a divided rather than a united purpose. I sense in what I have received that there seems to have been an attempt to separate the economics from the religious, which you must tell me if you think it can be achieved. I don't personally think so. Let me put myself on the table. Okay? All right? So I spent all morning trying to say, if there is a need to identify what a religion is, right, then let's also make that a separate thing that we can decide what is religion. But if you're going to try marijuana growing by Rastafari, only to the fact of who is a Rastafari, and I, Mike Henry, have to sign who is a Rastafari, I don't know that I can stick with that company. I have to look at it. So I get into problems with that. So that's why I said last week, and I repeat again, without support, I will go on the wrong road. Okay? Because as I asked them, who says that the Roman Catholic, the sacrament that you get at communion is not manufactured by everybody, but there are still Catholics that participate. So tell me why, if you're going to license Rastafarians to use it, you must be saying they can't grow it, right? But they must apply separately, right? For that. So I'm working my way through the issues. Okay? And I'm going to have to move some of this meeting to where I'm going to invite my colleagues, right? In the various ministries, or I might ask you to come and make a presentation to that committee, where the technocrats, because forget you, we come and go, the technocrats remain. And if the vision is not clear of what is a religion, how we arrive at a religion, because they said we are all divided. They said at one meeting that there are people wanting to come to blows. So I asked them if religious wars didn't exist as for me to come here, because I know the greatest sins committed was in the name of religious or religious wars. Okay? Right? So just as I asked them that we have SPCK, which was the Society for the Preservation of Christian Knowledge, and you gave them privileges, or you didn't give the Rasta the privileges too. So I'm giving you the background from which I'm fighting, but they'll throw me out of some quarters when they finish, right? Okay? So having said that, coming out of my position overall, I'm going to want to make sure, right, that some presentation is prepared. I've made a note here that I think one day you will want to meet with the Ministry of Justice sitting maybe here, or the Ministry of Culture, or the Ministry of Industry and Agriculture, But you have to be clear equally what I have inherited. Okay? Because I have to revisit, and I'm seeking to open the door to revisit some of the things that I have inherited. I see you have your thing here for you, I want to speak freely. So make absolutely sure you fear to me. All right, okay. Because I'm speaking as Mike Henry now here, not as chairman, not as minister, right? Right? I'm not articulating a position, except I'm sticking to the policy of what I believe in, right? Okay? So do me that favor, right? So as we speak then, right, I need to get some of that in perspective. So you need to tell me, have you made a presentation in the totality? Because there'll be regulations have to be visited, right? You have to talk about import and export, right? Okay? And you have the most important element for me to begin with, is the intellectual property rights and ownership of ganja and the identities that go with it. Okay? Because if you get that registered and accepted, and even if a man come to exploit you, you can still make money out of it because he's using your intellectual rights overall. I asked you last week, as I asked yesterday, prepare me, start to prepare. I asked that question this morning. Where is the list of herbalists? Okay? That is part of your tradition and culture overall. But I don't know who is getting a registration of that they can make sure if somebody comes to make the soap that is going to go, he's going to share or she in that industry overall. Okay. So, I am going to revisit some of the things because I saw in a paper today that if you're going to grow, somebody has to sign who is a Rasta, what mansion you belong to, where you worship and whatever. I don't know how practical all of that is. Right? But I don't know if you have agreed to it too.
No, man.
So go ahead.
So the people
and I give thanks to the President of the Priest Ground here, who was also a member of the advisory board to the former Minister of Justice. What we were concerned about coming from the Rastafari Millennium Council, for short, Ethiopia Africa Diaspora Union Millennium Council, is that the law in its definition spoke about the benefit coming to adherence to the faith, but speak nothing of the indigenous who created both the faith and the culture. So that's what we are saying. The law did not speak to monetary benefit sharing to the indigenous Rastafari community who actually built the culture. The advisory board that set up should have been knowledgeable of this, or it would not be serving the purpose what it is being appointed for. In regards to Rastafari, they must have sufficient knowledge to be advising the minister on this issue of sacrament. And that is what also one of our concerns as well. The nature and how the board was set up in defining these factors and how it delinked itself from the community. There was no link with the community where that board was concerned. So there were issues from the start that had to bring everything to a transparent.
What committee did you make that presentation? What committee did you make that presentation to?
We spoke in meetings with the minister.
Because what I report I get is that there were many members of these committees, and that what the persons chosen were chosen by a common approach.
All right. Minister, we have on record that we had suggested members from the three councils that are existing. The Nayabing Ancient Council, the Rastafari Millennium Council, and there's a Youth Initiative Council. We suggested representatives from those three bodies that are existing to help identify and coordinate that sort of.
Those were members of the advisory council.
No, they were not. They were not chosen. From there on, that was a gap in that level of communication. Also, as I said before, the language did not reflect any benefit sharing for the Rastafari community. The language did not recognize existing villages, existing commune spaces where you could easily say.
How do you want me to proceed from here?
I should think that the first some significant meeting is to redefine that advisory council to ensure that what is in place has a better communication framework in addressing what the community is re-Rastafari, because you already have commune settings, worship centers, tabernacles that clearly define the space of worship.
Who is going to make that request to me in the official capacity that I know?
Well, this is what we are saying. We don't know what is the new development in regards to that.
The first new development is to forget me as just the person you know, with sympathies or identity. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever are your mansions and council, write me a letter saying you want to come back, right? Or you want to come and make a presentation.
Yeah. Could we could we therefore seek a meeting with the various representatives of existing mansions who define themselves within the culture, how best to approach that aspect of an advisory going forward? I think that can easily be arranged. Because we had several meetings with the Honourable Minister of Justice as well as the former, I should say,
You've had one meeting with the Minister of Justice under the government.
Exactly.
One meeting.
To express the conditions.
Right, you only had one meeting. You've had one meeting with Minister Chuck.
Right.
You had one meeting officially with Minister Chuck.
No, I don't think we have had a significant meeting with Minister Chuck. We had one meeting.
Well, I have it down that you need a meeting with the Minister of Justice, you need a meeting with the Minister of Culture, you need a meeting with the Ministry of Agriculture, and a meeting with the Ministry of Industry. Those are your few. Those are your four elements. The only person that I find a common to look at is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, right? Because we have to look at the international agreements that people might be hiding under, right? Or using in terms needs to be addressed as it addressed the import, export, and other issues. Now, whether I have that as a collective meeting or individually, you're going to have to leave that to me to finally decide. Okay? And I established some of that today at another meeting that I believe that has to be gone. So that has been, you revisit some of the structures, which I have to do anyway because I've inherited some issues that I myself would have a disagreement with. Okay? But what I want to be clear is that you start to move officially with the new government. Right? So if I'm to guide you, the Minister of Culture, Ms. Babsy Grange, is the one that must get your heritage, right?
Yes.
And your intellectual property right structure. Beaming on her for that. Don't confuse her with my role or the Minister of Justice role. You have to beat them at their own game.
Yeah. Right.
If you accepted my guidance.
Twice.
Right?
Listen,
Okay.
we have started with the Honourable Minister.
So, the Ministry of Agriculture and the others who must be. Now, as I said, if they're going to say that you can only grow for your own use, or you can't export, or you can't do research and development, that's what you must be clear on equally. I will have my voice where I have to be saying everyone appreciates. So you decide which is the item. They're going to start some meetings in May across the country. I am looking at the committee that is being appointed is to be appointed by a Minister of Industry and Commerce because that's dealing with the commercial aspect.
That's the CLA.
Right? Okay. I am pushing hard with the Ministry of Culture to work very closely with two ministries. Tell you what my position is. Minister of Culture for Intellectual Rights, okay? Minister of Foreign Affairs, right? To be able to make sure I abide by the international standards, which is easily used to create issues other than that overall. Because as I think Mr. Cummins said in his presentation, and as I had to remind them, am I correct that Rastafari liberty is not into recreational ganja? Am I correct or wrong?
Right.
Am I correct or wrong? Because I know it as wisdom weed, I know it is for reasoning, it's not to escape the oppression of Babylon. That's how I know it, I don't know. There's another way you can tell I. Okay? So therefore, when they tell me in the paper, that's why I need your support. When they say they only license events to buy and sell.
Thank you. That's your problem.
So what you're saying is all for recreational use, so it's not a religion too in terms of
And
the
it drags us into that setting.
So if you can't decide who is a Rasta, I asked them today who is a Catholic. When they said a Catholic is who go to church, I said, what about the excommunicated, or tech community? What about the excommunicated Catholic that can't go?
But how can you define an adherent?
We have to move this quickly.
Yeah, I know, because time is against me. So I don't want to take up any.
Let's just give our African love a quick word.
No, I don't need it, not yet.
Over the period of the previous administration, whenever this word arrived, intellectual property rights, it wasn't recognized. So I'm glad that Brother Mike Henry had surfaced this for even those who are planning to go in investment where ganja is concerned. I believe that that should be recognized clearly, that there is an intellectual property rights value where ganja is concerned, mainly because of the suffering and the brutality that Rasta have been through where ganja is concerned. I don't believe that there's any other people in Jamaica who stop ganja when today we are seeing and recognizing the sufficient value that it is now to the world. So the intellectual property right should be always mentioned to even those who are planning to invest, that they have to respect that value, especially within the interest of the Rastafari community. Give thanks.
Thanks very much. Minister, as you know, we was given, because we knew of your restricted time, the priority was the letter of request from the monastery, what is now urgently needed. What they need is invitation letter, because the monks are ready to come here, so the priest is here to do that. The other that we had to table was Andrew coming, and what he has not confirmed to you is that we've actually created models of how the ganja should be grown. And we've met with Courtney Betty, they've seen it, they know what it's about, and that is the model. Who we've invited here are persons from different areas, but they're very influential in their community. And what we want to do is to introduce this model to each of them so that they can influence the community. While the Rastafarian is sorting out the IP issues, we have a national issue, which we now have to get this industry going. So we want to concentrate on the good model. This is why the mayor is here, Constantine is here, Brother Lloyd is here, School of Vision is here. The structure, which we've already got that, which is what Andrew has now had. All right?
Minister, as you know, I'm involved in politics, and my politics is Rastafari governance. What I am lobbying for is for one license to govern all Rastafari. So wherever you are on the island, you'll be blanketed under that banner of Rastafari. Through the Coral Garden Benevolent Society, which is a registered society, and Rastafari has gone through the atrocities of ganja, which now we have borne the burden of it. I see here, I don't know, we as Rastafari is looking for that one license, and also we were recommended by the public defender that we get Otameni to be indigenous village, so that we can earn for the ancients of Rastafari, because they're still living. And we would love for you, and thankful that you've been championing our cause for all these years. And we'd love for you to lobby for us. We heard the public defender say that some Rastafari has refused out of many. But I would like to get that forward on the agenda so that we can have that. We're 4 minutes away from the cruise ship port. Okay.
What you have said in terms of some areas are contained in a public defender's report. I have to deal with things separately and in isolation. What you have said is also part of what is a past inheritance. Because if the intent was to license Rastafari as a religion, then everybody who's a Rastafari will be able to grow. My position on that is you take out the economic structure of that, because you say you must only grow it for sacramental use. Okay? Right? No, that's in what I inherited coming out of the meetings. I am trying to work my way through. And I have to be very careful. You must appreciate I have to walk through the raindrops continuously overall, right? And I must never impose politics in terms of it. That's my position, been my position all along. Okay? So, right now, the public defender has made a report. That report is before cabinet. I can't comment on that right now. That's part of the structure. Okay? But I can assure you in cabinet I speak as I speak now. Okay? Right? So the next stage afterwards, if your position is once a Rasta, you can grow. What I've inherited say, yeah, you can grow, but for only sacramental use. So if you are found selling it or transporting it and it's not the sacramental, I'm saying what happens to you then? Right? And I'm saying you should have special economic rights. And I'm not saying that is what for Rastafari, part of which will be intellectual property, that whoever uses it can know. So if they come along with the red, green, and what I know to be Rasta, right, then you must get a right from it. So you don't mind if I make 200 billion if you're getting 1% of it because I'm using your recognition or whatever you do, in addition to you being able to manufacture. That's what I am looking at. But I have to now revisit what I've inherited as a government. And I can't speak to the final policy of my own government. I know what I'm fighting for. And I think the fact that my Prime Minister made me chairman of this, when this ministry, the only thing I'm going to have to do is transport, is to make sure if you're transporting it, I protect you. Right? Okay, I'm not involved in who grow it or who don't grow it. Right? So the basic point is let's work our way through with a clear appreciation that I think for the first time we have reached a stage where we can argue in the corridors of power, and I think we should all record our congratulations to our present Minister of Foreign Affairs who made a representation to United Nations, and I think represented us very well. Right? And has put the thing in some perspective. Right? But you see, you and I know what we're fighting is a mental process, you know. Right? If this religion was formed by a white man long ago, it would have been more recognized, no, you know. So, you know, so, and remember that if we're every country, the world must be fighting here, because you only know a country by its religion, its art, its sports, its music, its food, and its drama. Right? And we have produced all of that along the line. So I'm saying to you, what I don't hear, it can't be Mike Henry's voice alone. All right? It must be the voice of what you see fighting for the principle of a meeting at 4 o'clock with the Minister of Finance.
One more.
Thank you very much.
Live on Bob Arts Television, don't go nowhere.
Are you interested in a career in media and TV production? The Astor Interactive Music and Arts Institute School in Jamaica is open, looking for students that would like a career in media and TV production. Contact Astor in Jamaica to make arrangements for your student induction. Yes, I have a fabulous career. The BobArtsInstitute.edu is the website. Call Astor Black at 876-435-8401.
Greetings, Rastafari.
Greetings.
Everything blessed.
Blessings. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. What do you name?
Garrett.
Garrett.
My name, I name Garrett.
Yeah, man. And you're from
Holland.
Holland.
Original. Yes.
That's where the weed free.
Yeah. About 30 years ago, they legalized it. When I was a youth, 14, 15, and I started smoking, that was the time we start legalizing. A good thing. Yes.
So you're here in Jamaica. Why?
Well, 7 years ago, I met my wife here in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And I've been having a bondage with Jamaica since I was a youth. When I was 15, 16 years old, started to listen to Peter Tosh, the Idols, Gladiators. That's what schooled me.
Yes.
And then as a DJ and in sound systems. And 1988 was the very first time when I was 18 years old when I visited Kingston.
Yes.
You know,
89.
Yeah.
So respect. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, man. We're live in Bay West Shopping Center, talking to my brethren here. He's from Holland, and we're going to talk about Ethiopia. You've been to Ethiopia?
Yes, this in 2009 was started on, let's call it a spiritual trip. You know, it was on one day, certain things happening in my life, and it just was the first day in my life. We stand in front of my window and say, "Ja, just we know certain things that God just sent me and teach me."
Yes.
And I went away for 4 years and 3 weeks in New York and Harlem, reasoning with people about Ethiopia, about Marcus Garvey, about signs of the times, about all kinds of things, even things which I never spoke about.
Yes.
And then I went to Jamaica, met a lot of people, had a very beautiful reasoning with Georgie, who used to cook for Bob.
Man, about 56 Hope Road.
Yes, and the next morning him even buy some fish and him cook for me. So that was very special. I had a very special reasoning with him, like some guidance from the elders. It was at the time, because I'm 47 years old, and like His Majesty said, you always learn. You learn from each other to the oneness.
So what did that inspire you to do? After talking to Georgie and,
it was like, when I went, it was like things were inside of me which I had to share with people.
Yes.
But I also knew that because to the oneness, each one teach one.
Yes.
I had to connect with people to also broaden my spectrum and reason more with people about the signs of the times. And I think especially about the works about Miss Garvey and about Haile Selassie. And because these people have been warning us about the technical development not in balance with nature, and especially that is what we see.
Yes.
I do a radio program also. I always talk about the tell-I vision and the tell-I phony stories. Those inventions were invented to take away our ancient forms of communication and give us something to brainwash the human beings on Earth.
True.
And I always say it's like a Transformers. They make humans into robots and robots into humans.
Yes.
And if I see the killings worldwide, suicide, I just came from Belgium airport, be military. Because 1 month ago, 1 month ago there were like 3 suicide bombers blow up themselves at the airport.
Yes.
We live up on Norwood here. Just a good friend of me, 2 days ago, them shot him 3 times through the head. Yeah. Mind manipulation, poverty, divide and rule shit stim, as Peter Tosh would say.
Yes.
Yeah. In I go pretty, in the shitty. And we see the signs of the times. When I'm also very much a Bible man, especially since Ethiopia. We carry an old Orthodox Bible, about 300 years old, with all the references. And then it states clearly, we are the living. We are the living.
Yes.
We don't have to wait for no duppy from the sky to come here.
True.
Selassie,
yes.
Lion of Judah, and Empress Menen.
Yes.
Because people also forget a lot of time. It's about Haile Selassie and Empress Menen. Because on the 2nd of November 1930, it was the crowning in Addis Ababa, like Menelik and Ayesu.
Yes.
Because before the flesh was the spirit. Even the scriptures say the spirit flowed over the waters.
Yeah.
So and then it came into male, female. That's why I saw a beautiful wedding at the Menelik Mausoleum in Addis Ababa.
the traditional wedding where people marry forever. That even if one partner dies, you never take another partner. And I think that has to do with Genesis 1. If a man and a woman come together, they become one flesh.
Yes.
And that seal has been broken. I think that is one of the most important seals which has been broken.
True.
And Haile Selassie and Empress Menen restored that seal.
Yes, yes.
Yes?
Yeah. Ethiopia, man.
Yes.
You know, as a Rastafari, I've never trod the continent, but I hear so much from other ones who trod the continent, and we hear mixed views, mixed vibes. Tell me something real about Ethiopia, Shashamane especially.
Okay. I think the first thing I want to say, which is the most important thing, I acknowledge His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie as Christ in his kingly character, Empress Maria Menen. So it means that is the place of the most high light.
See it.
The most light. And when there's a lot of light, it also attracts a lot of darkness.
See it.
Yes. So there's a lot of, how you call it, voodoo, all kind of black magic from the Egyptian schools going on in the Sheraton hotels. Bill Gates is in it. The Rockefellers in it, the Dutch Queendom in it, the English Queendom in it, all them dirty games.
Yes.
Yeah. Marcus Garvey talked about the recolonization of Africa, the colonization, neo-colonization. They tried to recolonize. It will never work. David will beat Goliath.
True.
Because the first 10 words of the Bible, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Just 10 words, and that's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything is Jah. Yeah. So Jah run things. So when we say in Shashamane, I learned a lot. I first stayed a few months in Addis Ababa, went to the Trinity Church, get to meet with a lot of local Ethiopian people. Especially the Menelik Mausoleum made a very huge impression on me with the story of the Queen of Sheba and Solomon, and from a spiritual vibe. And in Shashamane, I met a lot of mixed things. A lot of good words from the elders. While I was there, Bongo Rocky's still alive.
Yes, yes.
I met Bongo Rocky. Had a nice reasoning with a man and his last birthday, singing with some brethren for him. There's a lot of good people who try their best. But a lot happened since Haile Selassie was taken away in 1974. A Babylon government, sell-out governments, taking away land, taking away opportunity. The youths who are born, the Jamaican youths who are born don't carry Ethiopian passports. So they are at the end of the road to get a job, at the end of the road to go to school. So a lot of things need to change also still locally from the African side, from the Ethiopian side.
Yes, yes.
To give the opportunity for those who repatriate.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So, on the other hand, there's also people, I think it's from the reggae music, and I understand it better and better. You have to have a clean heart. You want to enter Zion.
True.
And there's also brethren and sisters there from all over the world who've nothing to do there. Yeah, bringing Babylon doctrine, dirtiness, violence. Yeah, but them no Jah. Because you can't run, you can't hide. Even if you're there in another place of the Most High.
True.
Jah will find you out. These are the days of revelations. Everything I will reveal.
Yeah. So Haile Selassie livicate a piece of land in Shashamane for Rastafari, because he said we are blood brothers and the door is open for us to come home.
Yes.
Have you visited that land?
Yes, even my wife, we live up on Norwood now. She even get a little piece of land in Shashamane.
Yes.
So it is really, you have the EWF, the Ethiopian Wealth Federation, which is being led by a very, very good brethren right now, named Kush Ruben. He has been helping out a lot of people, also sick old people over there.
Yes.
If you go to those people, they will help you with getting a piece of land and to the introduction. But I think the most important thing is like the land grant. I had a piece of the land grant. I even gave it to Towers. 1 year ago, Towers Riley at a concert. I had a copy of the land grant of His Majesty. The most important thing actually, what he said, if you come with your family.
Yeah.
So don't come alone, come with your family.
Don't break up your family.
The bondage.
Yeah.
That's what he meant.
Yeah.
And work the land. and make plentiful so you can share it with your brethren and sisters. And still a lot of work need to be done, but there's also a lot of circumstances because if you just take a short story about Beta Israel, the Palasha, the people, cradle of creation, Ethiopia. What happened after 1974? Rockefellers and the Bushes started major investment to get Beta Israel out of Ethiopia and bring them to that fake place Israel. 80,000 careless Ethiopians, Jacob Miller said. And then that kind of things happening. So corrupt systems everywhere. I went to Gambia for 6 months, also only for corruption.
So the way to enter Ethiopia to Shashamane is through the EWF.
Through the EWF. Yeah, and you need to talk to the people of the EWF and they have been shortening the length, but I think there is always, where there is a will, there is a way.
Of course.
We are the creators. Africa awaits its creators. The Bible said, let us create man in our own image. So who are we?
Rastafari. Thank you for talking to us on BobArts Television.
Give thanks. Give thanks for your works. Give thanks for the big works you try to do in Jamaica. And don't let nobody get you down.
Rastafari. Blessed love.
Love.
You're watching BobArts Television. Don't go nowhere. Enough more coming because we're speaking the truth. Blessed love. Greetings. We're in Montego Bay, Jamaica. This is the island of ganja, the best weed in the world. Next year, 420, 2017 is going to be 420 in Jamaica. Make sure you get yourself in line, get yourself ready, because we want all of you to come to Jamaica for 420 2017, right here in beautiful Montego Bay. You coming? Let us know. Give us a yes on our website. Don't go nowhere. Just ready for 420. Blessed love. Astor Black, Reggae Prime Minister to the world.